Hello and welcome. I'm Dan,
I'm PJ.
and this is Nami Nation by Kai's Corners Productions. You can find us, if you'd like to see more of us, at gamesoverboard.com.
That's right.
Yes, but first, let's get to some fun things such as the news.
Yay!
Yay! Hey, this is actually really recent news as of
What?
today.
What's the news?
I'm going to punch you. That's the news.
Oh.
As of today, February 14th. 15th of 2025. Ubisoft sales down nearly 50%, and more layoffs and studio closures are highly likely.
You know how you could prevent that?
By making good games. Well, this is really sad because Ubisoft used to be a titan of video games, and now
they make Suicide Squad.
That was actually Rocksteady, but
wasn't it through? No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
That wasn't through Ubisoft.
No, that was WB Games. Anyway,
Yeah.
With Ubisoft, this is really, really bad because they decided that their biggest thing in their market was going to be the open world live play games, which even after much pushback, they decided to still go forward on it anyway.
Live service games are not good.
There's a time and a place, and the time is gone, and the place is no longer here.
Yeah.
And that's
like
really,
Skull
really
and
bad.
Bones.
Yeah. But the really sad thing about that is it's one of Ubisoft themselves, one of the largest employers in France. So if they do have closures and layoffs, that's going to be really, really bad for the people of that country.
Sorry, France.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So that's really that sucks because I used to love Ubisoft.
I know.
They used to make great games. I wasn't so much a fan when they fully took over ownership of the Far Cry series from Crytek.
Yeah.
But, I thought they did semi-decent with what they had.
Yeah, most of them were good.
Yeah.
6 wasn't.
Six
was not.
I still can't break. Like, I start playing and I go, yay, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm just bored. I'm bored. And it sucks because it's got a great cast.
Mm-hmm.
They did so much great work.
They give you they give you that freaking alligator like 2 minutes into the game.
Okay.
And
the fact that it's an alligator and they call him El Guapo, that's hilarious.
It's
pretty humorous.
But,
I will say they have good writing.
But he's just overpowered. Like it takes all the fun out of it because you just sick him at people, and it's like, okay,
I agree.
Like there's no challenge here.
Right. And this one is really fun. Bobby Kotick, I hope I pronounced his name wrong, calls former EA and Unity chief the worst CEO in history, which is really, really funny because he is no longer the CEO himself of Blizzard and Activision, and as we all know, as a CEO, he made some of the most boneheaded calls in Activision and Blizzard's history.
Was he responsible for Anthem?
I believe so. That was Anthem.
Like that was probably one of their biggest blunders.
Oh my gosh! It's just sad to see these big studios who used to have nothing but praise just go down the tubes.
No, okay, he was Activision Blizzard,
not full, not yet.
He was saying that about EA.
He was saying that about EA.
Okay.
Which
so both Activision of these, Blizzard, they have their own.
Both of these articles, guys, if you would like to read it for yourselves, they are on the 80.lv. Really, really good. And both of those articles, by the way, were produced by Theodore McKenzie, who is the head of content for the site. So check it out if you'd like to read up some more on that. What do you have for us, PJ?
Mine segues into our topic of the day.
Oh, topic of the day!
And it kills me, this bit of news that I heard. I was watching...
It's funny, it kills you, yet you're still alive.
Maybe it's slowly
killing you? Yeah. Is it draining the life essence from you?
It might be.
Oh, well, that explains why you're pale.
Ouch.
It could also be the studio lights. I'm sorry, that was
because I can't tan. I'm going to be outside all week.
It's the English blood, that's all. It's the English blood. I'm sorry. Anyway, continue, sorry.
Halo. A couple weeks ago, there was a big Halo update.
Yeah.
And everyone was expecting Halo, Microsoft to announce that Halo was coming to PS5. That was like the big thing. Like, that's why I tuned in and watched this update, because I've given up on Halo Infinite. So I just tuned in order to see what, if they're going to make this announcement or not. And instead, it was all about the next season of the game, and I'm like, I don't care about the next season of the game because the game is dead. Just give up on it. Halo Infinite will not last infinitely. It's just done. And
that's a shame. They gave us a promise, and
they promised us like 10 years of content or something, and a single player, that would last years and all kinds of good stuff. Nothing. No single player DLC. All kinds of just terribleness with the multiplayer. But most recently, they released the Rocket's Fuel Rod Spanker, which is just the Spanker rocket launcher reskinned to shoot fuel rod cannons. Fuel rod cannons.
They shoot the actual guns?
The guns. That shoots the guns.
Oh my god, that must hurt.
To shoot fuel rod cannons. And they go on to talk about, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but they go on to say that we can keep reskinning guns to save on animations and to increase the variety of weapons with faster turnaround. And in my head, I'm like,
that's lazy.
Yeah, that is exactly the word I was gonna say.
That's so lazy.
Mm-hmm. So you just admitted that, okay, we're doing this because we're lazy, and we want to just make things easy for us.
We've got thousands of new guns and content. Actually, by the way, it's just a skin of the gun that you had from the beginning of the game.
Like, Brute Shot. Put in the Brute Shot. Where is it? It's a classic Halo weapon that's not in the game. The flamethrower. Where's the flamethrower?
You mean the flamethrower that wasn't even in the original game but brought into the PC port?
Yeah, and then it never made it into like the mainline game until 3.
Oh, it was brought in 3?
Yeah, it was in 3.
That.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
And then did not show back up in Reach.
Reach, the last great Halo game, because it was the last one made by Bungie.
Yep.
And every time I think of Bungie, I still think of that Rooster Teeth joke.
Yep. Bungle.
That's an I. Oh, right.
Bingle.
Bungie!
But speaking of Bungie, like, they haven't made anything good since Halo Reach either.
Yeah, well, there's only so much you can do when you don't have meddling from companies that won't let you make the game the way you want to make it.
Well, they haven't been with Activision for years.
And they just haven't made anything, have they?
No, they've just been milking Destiny.
That sounded so bad.
I hope she's okay with it. And her child.
Oh, dear Lord. That's awful. Awful.
But moving on to our topic of the day. Let's
Halo.
talk about Halo.
Sorry to talk about. I didn't quite like the song.
I didn't even know it was a song until recently. I'm like,
lucky you.
Yeah, I type in Halo and Beyonce shows. I'm like, what are you doing on my computer right now?
Beyonce?
I thought you were a country singer.
Oh no, she dabbles in country.
I heard she's actually pretty good.
I don't know. I don't like.
I never really. Yeah, I don't
like. I don't like music in general anymore. It's bad.
They don't make music like they used to.
They also don't like. Shut up. They don't make video games like they used to. They don't make TV shows like they used to. And if I am going to be like that, yes, I would like to have an M1 Garand sitting at my porch telling people to get off my lawn. Also, don't touch my car.
Speaking of they don't make games like they used to.
Halo.
We're going to try not to spoil things, at least to a point. Then maybe we'll get into it. But because there are a lot of people who just haven't experienced it. And if it is coming to Sony's console and future consoles and Nintendo, because it's rumored to be coming to Switch also.
Well, yes, because Microsoft and Nintendo did make that deal, which, in my opinion, probably some of the greatest things that they have ever done.
Yeah.
Continue to make these deals, guys.
Yeah. And we know Forza is coming to PlayStation. Did you hear about that?
I heard rumors about it.
You can wishlist it on the PlayStation Store.
That's awesome, because I love Forza. Forza, for me, is what Gran Turismo
is for PlayStation
used to be,
yeah,
and what it should be now, but it isn't.
Oh no, it's terrible now.
Well, I mean, not to say that all the Forza games are great anymore. I mean,
I think they're pretty awesome. I have had no issues with both of the new Forza games.
When it comes to the I'm not a fan, like, and I love open world games, but I'm not a fan of the open world Forza games. It
Okay.
just doesn't feel like a Forza game. It's like,
Did you try Forza 6 yet?
6? Dude, I have 7.
It's up to 7? I thought, no, 6 just came out, didn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, 6 just came out.
Maybe we shouldn't be the ones hosting this. Oh, unless they reboot the entire series, which they may have. No, I had Forza 7 back on the Xbox One, which I loved. I thought that was a great game. But I really want that cabinet. I want that racing. Oh,
Would you put hydraulics in the chair so it like leans with the turns and
oh
everything?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd make it even better. I wouldn't have the screen. Put on the VR headset.
Oh, like you would do
yeah.
that. You wouldn't do that. That'd make
The
you
VR
sick.
headset?
Yeah.
It probably would make me sick.
I would do that.
But it would be cheaper than getting all the monitors.
Than renting a racetrack and getting the car.
Well, I mean, my car is already pretty awesome. I'd love to take that on the racetrack sometime.
But anyways, Forza is promised, or it's a wish-listed item on PlayStation right now, which means that probably future games like Gears of War and Halo will be making their way to
Boy, I hope
Sony
so.
as well.
I hope so, because there was also supposed to be a reboot of Halo, wasn't there? They were just going to take it back to the original,
Yep,
but like
on the Unreal 5 engine. Everything is Unreal 5. They got rid of the Slipspace engine.
See, I'm excited about that, and yet at the same time I go, because the original Halo just, I mean, that's nothing but a trip down memory lane for me.
Yeah. So let's talk about it.
All right.
Because Halo is, for those who don't know, story about religious zealot aliens, a group of different races from all over the place, different
Known
parts of the
as
galaxy.
The Covenant.
The Covenant, yeah, they all came together to form this covenant, this holy covenant against humanity to go on the great journey. And that would be to find a Halo ring and light it and take the great journey together. And your job as humans is to just prevent them from killing off humanity and take control of the Halo before they can. That's like
pretty much.
That's the first game. But there's so much more backstory behind it. Like it starts off in the middle of a battle because your ship that you're on just makes a blind jump to lead them away from Earth. And one of the planets, Reach, which is like one of the second biggest planets, is being attacked and destroyed. And so you just flee. And just send in random coordinates and boom, off you go. And that's how they happen across Halo. And then like this big battle plays out across this planet that's on the inside of a ring. Which is probably my favorite thing in the world. Like just looking out the landscape and seeing the landscape like sprawl up in front of you, and you look up to the other side of the planet,
and you can literally see
it's incredible.
The planet. I mean, it is an awesome concept, fantastic idea. The thing that sold me on this, I mean, when this game came out, this was 2001. You and I had been reading about this in gamer magazines, for
close to a
year before it was even put out there, before the Xbox even came out, or it was even announced. And it was one of those games that you look at the artwork and it just catches your imagination. You go, oh my God.
Yeah.
I have to play this game. And this is one of the few times I can say I played the game and I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. It's something that ruled our lives for a great portion of high school.
Yeah. And it shaped who we were in a lot of ways. Like, we made friends with people that we never expected to make friends with.
Exactly.
And then friendships that we did have, like...
Yeah, it just got stronger.
Just got stronger because of it. One of my favorite things to say is the map Blood Gulch, that multiplayer map. I know it as well as I know my favorite vacation spot, and it means that much to me in my head.
I mean, I know it as well as my own house.
Yeah, I know every nook and cranny of that place.
And I did tell you this before. I still think it's funny. My brothers and I played that the last time my oldest brother was up. We sat down in front of the TV. We launched Halo, and my brothers thought they were going to get the better of me by doing a 2 versus 1 on Blood Gulch, my home turf. And it was a massacre. It was a massacre. I even let them get a few kills before I absolutely destroyed them. And of course, I got the same thing I always get. You were screen watching.
Don't need to.
I don't need Screen Watcher Pro for this one.
Yeah, the game has just been so important to us and anyone our age, probably.
Yeah,
well, actually, 100%. Any gamer our age, This game was important too.
If you played it, it probably had a big part of your life.
Even if you didn't play it, because this game normalized shooters on consoles.
It did. It also normalized a lot of aspects that you see in current games, such as limited weapons.
Yeah, it was the first game to do that.
It was the first game to do that. You can only have 2 weapons, maybe 3 at the most. 2 big guns and a sidearm. This one was, you get a gun.
And you get another gun.
You get a second gun.
Yeah, that's it.
Doesn't matter what kind it is, sidearm, full big thing, doesn't matter. It's also the first one that, in my opinion, made vehicle combat feel natural.
Yeah. A lot of people hate the way the Warthog feels, and it's like, you just have to learn how it drives. And maybe it's because we've been playing for over 20 years, but because the way the Warthog drives, and other games have mimicked it, the left stick controls acceleration, and the right stick, you point it in the direction you want to go, and there's like a little arrow on the screen.
That's where you go.
You point the arrow to that spot, and you hold up to go forward, and the truck will just turn in that direction and go there. And people have a hard time figuring that out. Like, the truck will fishtail all over the place and everything. But no, all you have to do is point where you want to go and push forward, and it goes there. And then if you want to turn, you just turn that little indicator.
Go to just turn a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still it's a game I pick up every now and again just to mess around, and it still feels so natural.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say, so a lot of games have now defaulted into the Call of Duty control scheme, where your left trigger is to zoom, to hold your weapon up, to sight your weapon and zoom in or whatever. If you've got a sniper rifle, your right trigger is to fire.
Yeah.
And in the original Halo, if you wanted to zoom in, you clicked in the left thumbstick. Now, I haven't used that control scheme in more than a decade. And it's still one of those things where even in the newer versions of Halo, that's the control scheme I have. I have the Call of Duty control scheme. But when I play the original Halo and I get that sniper rifle, my first instinct is to click.
Click the right stick. Yeah.
Click that stick. Is it the right or the left?
Right.
It's the right stick. Okay.
Left stick was
my
crouch.
apologies. The right stick. But you still you just want to click that and bring up the scope, and you go click. Oops, it's not it.
That's why I changed all of mine. First thing I did when I got the Master Chief Collection, go into the controls, change them all back to the original settings. Okay, B is melee. Right click to
That's important.
Yeah, click the right stick to zoom in. Left click to crouch. All that.
Well, while we're still talking about Halo, let's also talk about the impact that it had on the Xbox itself. If it weren't for that as a launch title, I do not think you would have Microsoft being. Mm-hmm. I know some people will argue with me saying that it's not a juggernaut in gaming, but it is. It truly is.
Yeah. At least it was.
I don't care what you say about sales. The Xbox itself has pushed gaming in a whole new direction. Mm-hmm. It's forced Sony to really be on their game.
Yep.
And it's also forced Nintendo to do what they've done best through all of their years of making games, and that's innovation.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Microsoft, in my opinion, has done for the gaming industry. They were a titan, and they still are in the way that they keep pushing people to make new games, make new innovations.
They may not be a titan in the console industry, but in like the game development industry or the game publishing industry, like Game Pass is
huge,
amazing.
I have it. I love it.
Yeah. If you have anything that has the internet, like Game Pass is something you probably want to look into because you can play it on anything that can go online.
Right. I mean, if you have a stable connection, you're going to be able to play your games. My favorite thing is being able to play the classic Nintendo games by Rare on my PC. Do you know how excited I was when I got to play GoldenEye on my computer? Holy crap! That's another one that gives me memories.
GoldenEye's so good. But again, the controls on that were just not great. It wasn't until Halo that like first-person shooter controllers were.
And the thing is, they really had a great idea. It was just the controller was not built for that.
No, yeah.
Because you play that on an Xbox controller or even a PlayStation controller, and you go, "Oh yeah." Like this game, oh yeah. It does. It feels great if you have a modern controller to play that game on.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I really wanted to focus on about the original Halo games is the reason why the multiplayer is still played today. Like, more people play Master Chief Collection than they play
Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite.
That doesn't surprise me. Just get that out of the way. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Because there were two separate teams in Halo, or in Bungie. There was the single player team and the multiplayer team. And the head of multiplayer specifically said, we never set out to make this game competitive. It was a party game first.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel it. But
oh, yeah.
343, formerly 343, now Halo Industries, or Halo Studio.
I'm sorry, this is just the obligatory act.
Yeah, it's literally the same company.
We've got a new branding. Oh, you got rid of people? No, we just changed our name.
Now the Gulf of Halo. Sorry. I'm not sorry. But they deliberately design the maps to be arena shooters. They want to be esport competitive. That's how they market the game. Yeah. They even made multiplayer for Halo Infinite free so people could play it and get hooked on it and, turn it into a live service and make money off microtransactions and all that. But they did that because they wanted everyone to play it so it would become an esport title. And you can't force it like that. It has to grow naturally.
Yeah.
Which is why Halo 3 was like the biggest esports shooter, like the sweatiest competitive multiplayer out there.
That sounds gross. I'm just seeing.
I hate
seeing kids play.
Yep, exactly.
So look, we were kids. Kids are gross.
Yeah.
We were gross.
Yeah.
I know how it goes. Yeah. Kids are watching. I'm sorry, you're gross.
Yeah. I'd love to hear what kids think about two 30-something men talking about games.
Hey, see, back in my day.
Back in my day, we had 2D games.
We still have 2D games.
True. But that's not all we have now.
It's called 8 and 16, bit throwbacks. Come on.
Yep.
So back to Halo, the original game.
Did you know the twist halfway through the game? Were you aware of it the first time you played?
Well, I'm not a dancer, but I do know how to do the twist. So, yes. I really hope you guys are enjoying this. Wait, what was the twist?
So now we're getting into spoilers, everyone.
Because I'm just trying to remember, because everything to me is just like, here's the story.
The Flood.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The introduction of the Flood.
The Flood. So I didn't know the twist per se like that, but I had a feeling something more ominous was coming. And, I mean, they telegraphed that right from the beginning. When you're there on... in the first few levels of Halo, you're driving around the Warthog, you hear Cortana in your ear say, like, hey, this is a little weird. Like, it shouldn't be like this.
Yeah. There's
this
something
isn't
up with the ring. Yeah,
it's not a natural structure and all this
this
stuff.
This cave is not natural formation. And someone built it.
You're going like, no, duh. Thanks, Cortana.
I actually never had an issue with that line until people started like making fun of it. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of silly.
So the one thing that bugs me about that is how, getting a little off topic, is how everybody's treated Cortana. Like, I think Cortana was one of the best characters. Cortana's a great character to not only give you background information that you as the player doesn't know, but it's also a great way. It's just one of the best storytelling devices that you can have.
Yeah, she serves as the voice, like she's almost the protagonist of it.
Yeah,
because Master Chief is so silent for the initial trilogy,
and
she does most of the talking.
Because you can't forget the opening of Halo 2. I need a weapon.
Finishing this fight. But yeah, oh man, whenever he does talk, it's just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Downes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve Downes was perfect.
He's amazing.
Let's get back to it. The twist. God, I remember when we first came across that. I didn't get my Xbox from you guys yet.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad won a raffle,
And I got it.
and yeah,
That
since
was
I
the
already
greatest-
had an Xbox,
It was
Dan
the
got
greatest
it.
Christmas present ever.
It was pretty awesome.
I remember it being a lot longer, but it wasn't that long. It really wasn't that long before I got mine.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I hadn't seen that twist. I hadn't seen that coming, and when when we played it, oh no, you and I had gotten to that twist. Is our friend who hadn't gotten to the twist.
And we were watching him play.
What was hilarious was his reaction to everything.
Because, like, the whole level where they're introduced, there's all this foreshadowing. Like, you see this thing off in the distance, the silhouette, and it looks odd, like vaguely human, but not really, and it like disappears. And then you go deeper into like the structure, and there's blood all over the walls, and it's Covenant blood.
Like it's the biggest horror element of the game is here, and this is where the game goes from action adventure shooter to just terrifying horror.
And I like how a lot of it. I like how a lot of it is, it's all in this like environmental storytelling, and I never even realized it until a couple of years ago that it was there. There are several scenes where there are doors just blocked with ammo crates from the Covenant, and you go around the other side, and they're just like all these grunts hiding there. Or
they're not hiding from you.
Yeah, they're not hiding from you
like they did in the first few levels of the game.
And then you meet that one Marine who starts yelling about monsters and starts shooting you, telling you to stay back.
Like that was the one thing that I remember playing for the first time where I was very unsettled.
Yeah. And then like most people like have a knee-jerk reaction and shoot him, right? Or they'll just put him out of his misery and shoot him. But then, I don't know if you know this, once the flood get released and you leave the building, that guy's not there anymore.
Yeah.
His body is gone.
Yeah.
So he got taken.
I remember one of the times we played, he shot at us, so I shot him back.
I mean, I did too.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why did you shoot me? I'm going to shoot you back.
I thought there was more to that story.
No. You know me. That's usually how my stories go.
Yeah.
They trail off at the end.
But then you realize, like, that's the whole purpose of why Halo was built, and the whole trilogy and the great journey that the Covenant has is actually lighting these rings to destroy all life in the galaxy and starving the Flood out.
We're going on a great journey! Who wants to drink the Kool-Aid first?
And I love the twist, because that leads into Halo 2 then, where the Arbiter tells everyone about what the great journey is and all that, or he tries to. And the brutes take over, the elites guard, and then there's a civil war.
And that's what's so interesting about this. So Joseph Staten was one of the key forces behind this whole franchise, or at least the first 3 of the trilogy. And his focus was he wanted to tell this epic story. And in my opinion, he did an amazing job. But it starts off with the Arbiter being stripped of his rank. Literally. Armor is stripped off his body, and he is branded as not a traitor, a failure.
Yeah.
And he gets branded
as
with the brand of the Arbiter.
Yeah. And as a heretic.
A heretic, too. Yes. And this is before he even knows what's going on. And as you are seeing things through his eyes, because in the second game you do get to play as him, that's when you start to see the great journey is literally a suicide pact.
Yeah.
And then the uprising into the Civil War, and then that really unsteady alliance with Master Chief and humanity.
And the Covenant against the Flood and the brutes.
Yeah. Sorry, Tartarus, who is the main brute in that game.
Tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce. It is I, Tartar sauce. He was a great villain.
Terrible boss fight, but great villain.
Oh yeah. See, that's the thing.
Bring back furry furry brutes. Bring back furry brutes, everyone. I don't like that they're not furry anymore.
Yeah, I didn't like
that. They were for Halo 2, and I think 3, but Reach they weren't. And ever since then they haven't been.
I understand gameplay wise why they brought them in Reach, but they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have been there because the brutes came in Halo 2.
Yeah.
And Reach takes place before Halo.
The story is that they were just on like different ships in the Armada, and that's why you didn't see them in Halo. But you do see them in Halo 2. It's because like more ships, joined into the fight.
Real quick, can we talk about that ending for Halo? That secret ending? If you beat it on the Legendary.
Hold me.
So you get Sergeant Johnson, who is your typical Marine, stranded on Halo as it's blowing apart. And he's got an elite with him. And they drop their weapons and embrace each other.
Yeah. This is it, baby.
I want to know if that was one of the outtakes that they decided was too good to use. Because if you go, so I don't know if they're there anymore, but there used to be a whole bunch of bloopers that you could listen to.
Mm-hmm. Halo.bungie.org.
Do they still have it up?
I don't know.
Because they had all of the bloopers, and some of those lines I really wish they would have made it into the game because they were just classic.
It is still online.
Still online.
HBO is still online. But then we get into the 343 era, and that I want to say that most of Halo 4's storyline was really good. I liked Chief and Cortana. I liked their relationship, mostly because I'd read the books, so I had seen it coming. A lot of people who didn't read the books, from what I hear, is very jarring. For one, John to be very talkative. Two, for them, for he and Cortana to have such a
close relationship,
a bond, with each other.
And she's literally in his head.
Yeah. And the fact that she's going rampant, that's something they introduce in the first time you meet her, pretty much, I think, in Fall of Reach, which was the prequel to Halo.
Mm-hmm.
I know they talk about it in Fall of Reach. I don't remember like how early into the story they do, but
the book or the game?
Book, not Reach, Fall of Reach.
Fall of Reach.
The novel.
I don't remember because I've read the book and
they talk about
a lot of stuff, but not that.
They definitely mention it. I just don't remember how deep into the book it is when they finally do get to it. But because Cortana is a living AI, they literally think themselves to death. Where normal smart AIs, they like, an Echo or a Google Assistant. Do. Yeah, they do what they're programmed.
Yeah, and like humans, we remember so much and new information, dump that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but they don't.
They don't.
They just keep thinking and keep learning until they think themselves crazy.
Would you say they're like elephants? An elephant never forgets.
That's right. They don't go crazy. So yeah, I saw that part coming, and I was hoping that the games would get to that point because I was wondering what a rampant Cortana would look like. And
you found out.
Yeah, you do get to see that. Like every so often, she like has a freak out and like causes EMP blasts and things like that. In the area.
I bought 4.
The gameplay was not good.
I wasn't a fan. See, the thing is for me is when you end the trilogy and the trilogy ends with, guess what? The war between humanity and the Covenant are over. What story is left to tell?
Yeah.
You've told your epic war, story, and now you bring a new game. Okay, great. Well, who's the enemy this time? More Covenant.
And robots that are very boring to fight.
I hated those enemies. The
really...
Diadact I thought was a lackluster villain.
Well, also there's the fact that again, 343 expects you to read, like to do your homework.
I don't want to do homework.
I know.
I have been out of school now for 20 years.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, sure. So there have been.
I don't want to do homework.
Yeah, but there have been like so many books, so like countless books, and some of them explain where this faction of Covenant come from and why they are the way they are and why they're still fighting humans and all that, and the Didact and his backstory with all the Prometheans. And
didn't he last for like only one game and they threw it away?
Yeah. And they came back in a comic book and they killed him again. So
it's just not interesting to me. I
no.
don't care.
Well, his whole storyline was like they retcon a lot of things, where humans aren't the forerunners anymore, like some
But
other
that was the
species
whole
is.
point.
That's the whole point, yeah. And that's that's what failed about the show too, which we can talk about also, is that all humans are forerunner, which means all humans can use forerunner tech, which is why the Covenant hated humans because of like this jealousy of that we were the chosen race and all that. But they did away with all that in 343 in their trilogy, and it drove me crazy. And then they brought Cortana back after she had this like a perfect death scene at the end of Halo 4. Then they realized that story was terrible, so they did away with that and and did Halo Infinite and just pretended that Halo 5 never happened. And that was bad too, because there's no explanation of where you are or why or what's happening.
And I felt bad because Halo 5 had some really interesting things. Oh, Chief is now a wanted fugitive.
Yeah.
Cool. You get to see Chief with his old blue team.
Blue team.
Which, if you read the books, you read about them in
Fall
of Reach. This is great.
Yeah, they wrecked that really bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. And I don't think 343 or Halo Industries, whatever you want to call them now, I don't think they're going to learn their lesson. I don't think they want to learn their lesson.
No.
As much as I don't like it, the smartest thing they can do is reboot the series.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But don't change too much.
No, maybe like add in some of the deleted scenes that Bungie could never get in the first time around.
Oh, like having the grave mind in the original game like they had planned?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's the hairs just floating everywhere.
I know,
like
right? Cats. Or having all the vehicles and extra locations and things like that they wanted you to go to.
Yeah, that stuff would be great.
There are definitely lots of possibilities and reasons for a remake.
Yeah.
So I just hope they don't screw it up. And I think, because they released a video of it a couple months ago now, and I think they released that video saying, this is not game footage, this is just footage. It's like just generic Halo footage on the Unreal Engine. And I think they specifically did that to show, like, look, we are trying to stay true to the art style. Like, this is the original Master Chief Mach 4 armor, or Mach 5 armor. And it's like the bright greens and, the brightly saturated colors. The old style like Forerunner tech where there's not like the blue neon lights all over the place like it's Tron. They don't have any of that in those 3 locations they showed off. So
the light bridges look like light bridges?
Yeah. Right. Oh, and the walls are just gray. Just that metal, like gray.
That gunmetal gray?
Yeah, there's no weird lighting to them like they did with the newer games.
Yeah.
So at least they're listening to like the artistic style and everything, which makes me think that they're gonna listen to everything else. Hopefully.
I'm not gonna count on it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Because then there's the show.
Do we have to talk about it?
I mean, I just want to say that if you're gonna do a show on something, make sure you like the source material and follow the source material.
Oh, and actually get writers who understand it and know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Like The Boys. Doesn't exactly follow the source material, but it has the same tone. It respects the source material enough to when it deviates, it still feels like The Boys.
Boy, I wish they would have done that with The Walking Dead.
That was another one. First season of Walking Dead.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Because it followed the comics, and when it didn't follow the comics, it still stayed respectful to the tone and maturity of the comics.
Right.
And then The Witcher season 1 stayed true. Yeah, stayed true to the books. Then after that it didn't. It happens all the time. Wheel of Time did not follow the books and it fell on its face. Halo did not follow the game.
The biggest thing that got me about Halo, besides the not even remotely sticking close to what it was supposed to, be about, was you have a faceless protagonist Why did you give him the Judge Dredd treatment and take his helmet off every chance you got? It's not Sylvester Stallone. He's not yelling, I'm the law.
The worst for me, though, was that that's what fans complained about probably the most in Halo Season 1. That and a character called Quan, who was just useless, served nothing to the story, just bad all around. Like, the actress, she did a fine job with what she had, but she was written poorly, too. Like, she, just got the short end of the stick for everything. And then for Halo Season 2, the biggest complaint was that he had his helmet off all the time. They had the entire Fall of Reach, the entire Battle of Reach, with all of the Spartans out of their armor. Kind of like a big middle finger to the fans, I think. Like, it had to have been deliberate. Of course
you're going to lose if your Spartans are out of armor.
That had to have been deliberate. A deliberate choice, right?
Of course it was a deliberate choice.
The writers knew what they were doing and, just wanted to give the middle finger to anyone who complained about Season 1.
But if you remember the book, they didn't have their Mark 5 armor until
the end. The end of the battle, yeah. Yeah.
Which, by the way, if anybody ever gets the chance to find the book, find it. If you're a fan of Halo, especially.
It's easy to find.
It's easy to find. It's a great read.
It is a really fun book. The other big thing about the show that really... Okay, so Fall of Reach, one of the most genius parts about it is how the Spartans became the way they are. And the way that happens is they are kidnapped at the age of either 5 or 6.
Oh, this is one of the parts of the lore that I just...
It's insane.
I love it. I love the whole story.
I love it for how diabolical it is.
It's so diabolical.
So these kids are kidnapped and replaced with a clone, but that clone has a genetic defect in which they're going to die in less than a year. So now they have an army of children that doesn't exist. And because of that, these kids are taken to this boot camp and never to see their family again. And immediately they are sent to drills. And, drill after drill after drill. Eat, drill, 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 sleep, wake up, drill, 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 eat again, And they never have time to think because they're so exhausted by the end of the day that they just fall asleep. So they never ever think about their family because they don't have time to. And within, a couple months, they don't remember their family. This is their family. This is their life. This is all they know, which makes them loyal. In the show, they put emotion blockers, these little pills at the base of their spine. And the Spartans cut them out of themselves to feel emotions.
Well, that was just stupid writing.
Right? Yeah, the whole point of Halo 4 was who is the machine and who is a human, because Cortana has real emotions, and Chief is just kind of going through the motions. He's cleaning his rifle and everything, and she's talking about how, she'll never understand if something's real or not, because she'll never be able to feel it. And he's just kind of there doing his thing, and then at the end of the game, Captain Lasky, he's just dude, you're mourning. You can rest for a bit. You're not a machine. And Chief is she said that to me once. And it's because of
how they were raised.
And what is just part of their core. And it's why he goes rogue in the 5th one, because he finally realizes, the message finally took hold, 50 years later.
So how old he is?
He's in his 50s, I think. Yeah.
Holy crap!
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read it, but he's older by the time the Halo battles occur. Yeah. So that's just a huge point of the show that they just missed, from the game that they could have easily taken.
Again, that's a studio picking up a property that they don't understand, nor do they want to.
No, they didn't want to. Yeah. Same with The Witcher. They deliberately said, we do not read the books and will not read the books and don't care about the books.
Poor Henry Cavill. He is such a fan of the book, such a fan of the game series. And
which is why he's not in this new season.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's had all of these great roles, and then they're just nah.
Roles that he was born for.
Yeah.
Geralt, Superman.
He was a great Superman, but we're getting way off topic.
I mean, you're watching a video about 2 guys talking about Halo, so I figure you're probably in the nerddom corner with us.
Yeah, let's get our dunce caps together. We'll all just hang out.
That's right. Now Henry has his Warhammer show coming. Let's see how that goes.
Please, Henry, have some control. Make sure they do it right.
Anything else about Halo? We haven't talked about the music, but maybe we'll just do a whole episode on music, video game music at some point.
Let's just. We can scratch the surface right now. Marty O'Donnell, one of the greatest composers of our time.
Yep.
The guy is just freaking brilliant.
I know. He made the Mr. Clean jingle.
Serious?
Did you know? Yeah.
I did not know that.
Uh-huh.
No, I got that stuck in my head. Thanks a lot.
He is responsible for Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. Oh, I hate you.
Don't hate me. Hate Marty.
I can't hate him. He's made amazing music.
And I have to say, even if you don't agree with his political views and everything, because America's pretty divided right now, but he ran for Congress. I think it was Congress. Maybe it was Senate. He ran for public office. And the whole reason why is he's like, I feel like I just had to give back. And I'm like, yeah.
That's noble.
I applaud that, So even if you don't, even if you're on the other side of the spectrum, the political spectrum from him, you still have to applaud that for just wanting to give back to the community.
That's right. But some of the music the whole soundtrack that he created for that first game in particular really pushed the boundaries of everything. Not only did the game make it feel like a concrete, amazing story, but the way they set it up, very cinematic. And then that music just brought everything together. Yeah. I remember watching some of the cutscenes and thinking, of course, at the time, holy crap, these graphics look amazing.
Yep.
And this music is incredible. And then you watch it today and you go, wow, those graphics are outdated, but man, that music is awesome.
And if you're playing on the Master Chief Collection, that's, what are they saying? Because the music is too loud.
That's okay. I don't care. The music is awesome. Really. But you've got these beautiful orchestral pieces, Gregorian chanting, and of course you've got a freaking electric guitar.
Yeah.
Which just, of course, that only comes in as you're dropping down in the Pelican, jumping out onto a beach, which to many would, bring back memories of, the Normandy landings and stuff.
Well, no, the guitar was later.
Oh, was it later? Oh, yeah, that was when you're driving around. But still, you've got this...
that was just the main theme during the beachfront.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Silent Cartographer. Still the best level.
I'm really not surprised that you remembered, immediately that was the name.
Oh, I know them all.
Yeah. I know you do. See, here's the thing. I'm a geek. You're a frickin' nerd.
Yes. Especially when it comes to Halo.
Yeah, I'm a nerd when it comes to other things.
One of these days, I'm going to dump $150 on that miniatures game.
I'm really glad you finished that with $150 on a miniatures game.
I'm going to dump on that miniatures game.
Please don't. I'm not into that kind of thing.
Is that the game saying that?
I think it's both.
Please don't.
It's both me and the game. The game going, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? No!
I like how Marty specifically made it sound ancient and mysterious, because the rings are both of those things. There's no brass, except for one or two songs.
And a lot of that comes from the use of the chanting.
Yeah.
And the use of the chanting, the string instruments, the woodwinds, and everything that he has in there. It really is. The percussion.
The drums really, really drive those songs.
It's still one of those games where you hear the music and you're like...
You immediately just start getting hyped up,
You get into a zone.
Yeah.
I don't think anything that 343 / Halo Industries has done on their own has even come close.
No, not
to those original Marty O'Donnell.
Which is why they brought back the original music in the Halo Infinite. If you haven't played Halo, and if you heard that spoiler, it's still not gonna bother you. I knew about the spoiler before I played, because I had the strategy guide and I read through it all, because I was a Halo obsessed fan. And
that's okay, I read it too.
Well, it was one of those things.
Because it was his copy.
Yeah. My parents ordered it for me on day one. The Xbox. And I'm like, I'll need a birthday present. I'll need Christmas present. Like I just
If
if you just get me an Xbox and Halo, like I'm cool. That's great. That's all I need. Then from November 15th or 9th, I forgot what day it was. From November to December, a whole month and a half ish. I knew that the Xbox was around, but I couldn't touch it until Christmas. So the only thing I had to hold me over was that Halo strategy guide. So I learned like everything about it, and it was still just such an experience to play that game. There's just something about it. There's no other game quite like it out there.
No, I don't think there's ever going to be a game for, at least for us, that's ever going to replace that kind of that kind of place. And I mean, it was the right place. It was the right time. We were very impressionable.
And it spawned so many amazing community moments. There were all the montages of people trying to launch a warthog over the arch at Silent Cartographer because grenades will chain detonate grenades. So you can make a pile of grenades and launch things.
One and then watch everything explode.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom. And then there were like people do that in multiplayer and in different maps, and there were all these nooks and crannies and glitches to get into these weird to reach spots, and that was part of the game, was just trying to get out of the map and explore these weird parts of the map. And then there is Red versus Blue and all the machinima that came out of that game.
Not the first, but definitely the most popular.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely what kicked off machinima.
Oh yeah. I mean, come on, we quote that show
just every time we get together, probably.
Just as often as we quote Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or anything else from our childhood.
One last bit of news. Bernie Burns owns Red vs. Blue again. And Rooster Teeth. He got it back from Warner Brothers. It's under their management.
Yes, this is good news.
I really hope he brings back the old team and gets like Joel back and Matt and Jeff and Gus and all the old crew. I really hope.
So for me, especially when it comes to Halo, some of the best memories are of the game days.
Yeah.
As teenagers, we would...
Every Wednesday,
we would get 4 Xboxes, 4 people on each Xbox. Total of 16 people, just being ridiculous.
Yep.
Some of my favorite moments include things like 4 people with sniper rifles shooting at one person. And a crisscross, like they made a perfect X. It was capture the flag. Hit him. Perfect X, and it actually slowed the game down to the point where instead of a crisp death animation of and then falling over, it was fall to the knees, and then it paused, and then
he was just on the floor,
slumped down on the floor, followed by pistol shots, and then the other room. Come on, guys, is that necessary? Another great memory is playing all day, being tired at 3 a.m.
Yep.
And saying, the 4 of us on one team saying, we're going to bed, we're tired. While the remaining 12 people in the house said, well, we're going to play all night, and when it comes the morning, we're going to kick your butt. And we slept for all of 5 hours.
Maybe even less.
Maybe less.
I think it was like 7 a.m. they woke us up.
Come on, we've been playing all night, we're going to kick your butts. And we finished the game in about 5 minutes.
We were like half awake, our eyes have
we're playing the game going, you take this, okay, we're done, we're going back to bed.
They lost their cool. They were losing it. It was so funny. Oh my god.
It's another time, and this was this was a year or something down the line. We were at another game day, and one of the big things that you could do is make multiple characters, different names. And PJ, of course, had to change his name to Uranus. And our friend and his brother were playing, and PJ had gotten the little brother, and he decided to screen watch. So he screen watched and said, "Be careful, Uranus is right behind you."
Well, yeah. And then smack. Oh, it was so good.
Another great time was playing with my brother and his friend.
So many good memories. And we could go on like that forever. There's just so many good memories. And like we said, we have spent so much time in these spots that every location in one map has a memory, and it's we can just go on forever about it. Do a tour of Blood Gulch. Oh yeah, and over here.
I used to be a tour guide. I can do it. So, guys, if you look over here to your right, you'll see the spot where I killed PJ just by smacking him in the face when we both ran out of ammo.
But yeah, that's the briefest of overviews, everyone, of Halo. And we could go on forever about it, but I think we're going to stop it there for your sake and ours.
Yeah. If you guys would like to hear more game memories or another retrospective game or game series that you loved, let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
Or just anything you want to hear us talk about, give our 2 cents.
What do you think of Halo?
Yeah, what did you think of Halo? Just let us know.
Yeah.
So that's it for us, guys. Remember to subscribe to Nami Nation. Check us out on the YouTube channel. Also, check us out on Games Overboard at gamesoverboard.com. You can listen to our podcast, which comes out every Monday at midnight. And we also do things like live playthroughs, so just keep tabs on us. We'll always let you know a little bit beforehand when we do a live playthrough.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope you have a good one.
See you guys.
See ya.